Introduction to our registration process. You come sit in the front row if you want. Okay. They're all huddling at the back. We will be sitting in front of the mics, which doesn't feel very personal, but the reason that we're going to be sitting in front of mics is that we want the people who are attending from home to also be able to hear. And we thought it was important that we made this accessible in person and virtually. So I'm Elizabeth Kaufman. I am the superintendent as of July 1st in this district. I am the mother of 3 children. And I, other than dropping my kids off at college, I have to say that the decision for kindergarten, TK, my kids went into TK or preschool, those were the hardest decisions. So I went through it. I actually had to call a last minute favor from a charter school because I couldn't decide. And I had twins and, you know, so the journey is a long and arduous one. You are in good hands in the Mill Valley School District, you're actually in outstanding hands. And, you know, you're going to always feel like you can make excuses as parents. So, you know, we work on every day and, you know, we have them when they're not with you and we love and care for them as well. And so please know that this really is an outstanding place for your children to grow up. And while this evening may seem somewhat bureaucratic, it is partly because we have a lot of outstanding schools and a lot of outstanding and involved families. And we want to be very transparent upfront with you about our process. I'm Kate Spray.
Hi, I'm Kate Spray. I'm the Director of Technology and Accountability. I also am a parent of a kindergartner and a 4th grader in another district, neither of whom qualified for TK based on their birth dates. So I also understand it really specifically as a parent as well. And I'm excited to be here tonight. I oversee online registration, which is a big reason that I'm here. And so I'll be talking through that process and what that looks like involving our website and the documentation required, as well as when that will open and what the dates are.
And we will be introducing our amazing principal team in the course of this presentation. Next slide, please. This is our district vision. I believe I can't see that far. And you know, what we're trying to do as a district is really prepare your students for the children for a world that we don't really know what it's going to be like right now. I think, you know, the schools that we have are schools that, you know, were developed in a pretty agrarian factory society, and they're still the schools we have. So, you know, what we're trying to do is make sure we develop the whole child with rigor and with relevance and with empathy and compassion. And I think at the elementary level, that really is the most important thing we can do, is help you create well-rounded, literate children to hand off to the world of secondary school. Next slide. So our agenda tonight: welcome introductions, overview of who we are as a district a little bit. What is TK? How do we place your children in schools? How do you register? And next steps. Next slide, please. So I'm Elizabeth Kaufman, Kate Spray, Daniel McCord from Edmund McGuire. They're going to have a moment to explain a little bit about their school. Lisa Lamar, Town Valley, Aubrey O'Connor, Park, Jason Matlin, Old Mill, and Kimberly Russell, Strawberry Point. We also have a director, Laura Myers, who is also someone that you'll be interfacing with around academic and curriculum end of things. And there's a registrar named Kathy Rosen, who you will interface with significantly. And this is our QR code that goes to what? I can't remember what it goes to.
Your question. So if you want to submit a question, we don't know how long. We want to make sure that we are able to answer your question. So we have to input your email address when you scan this QR code, and then ask your question. They'll be monitoring the form. So if we do have some time at the end, they'll maybe pull out some questions for us to answer here live, but then also we can follow up directly with questions as well. That is also on the board way back there. Which is not especially helpful right now, but please also make sure you get your name on the sign-in sheet, which I believe You're great, thank you. Anna is passing around also your email address, and then we can email you the presentation. We also have a flyer regarding registration that we can send you, and we can direct you specifically to the website links for you to register. And I see a former teacher who is also a parent in the audience feeling a little overwhelmed. Don't worry, I promise all districts do this. There's so much, I won't call her out, but there's lots of, the process is long, but that's why we want to start tonight so we can let you know about the process, and don't feel overwhelmed. It sounds like a lot, but it's documents that you have. It sounds like a lot, but it's just about getting the right information so you can be sure that we serve your student, get them placed, and get them enrolled as efficiently as possible.
It's still a lot. So I will first introduce Daniel McCord to share a little bit about what he loves about our district. We're trying not to have any sort of competitiveness among our group of outstanding educators. So we're going to focus exclusively on the benefits of the district.
Well, we want those three last year. And again, our 5 schools, the 5 principals, we're very tight as far as how we work together and everything. You'll never hear us compare one school to the other. We just don't do that. So we truly feel like if your child's at Park or Old Mill or Edna, they're getting similar education, similar experience, and that's one of the things that we just truly value as a team about our school district is the teachers collaborate well across the district together. I mean, there's just a lot in that way. So again, you're not going to hear us trying to, we're number one. So, but no, just
yeah, you will. But not in this time.
Edna is just right up here by Horse Hill, just up Lameda Drive. About 425 or so, 430 students. TK, we're the only site, I'm sorry, we were the site that introduced TK into the district last year with 3 classes. We have 3 classes again this year as TK continues to expand with the other sites as the facilities are able to. And then just happens to have the most recently updated campus, so it fits all of what the state requirements are, sense all of that. But again, that's rolling out across the district, so please don't think anything one way or the other. The favorite part of my day was anytime I walk down to where our TK and Ks are, because they're just, it's like puppies all day long. It's tumbling, scratching, fighting, biting, and then they learn things. It's great. And today I got to hang out with some in PE. They have PE, they have art, they have music each week, garden time. There's all kinds of things that go on, including all the academics they have in the classroom. A lot of it is just learn how to regulate yourself, but be nice to somebody else when you're ready for kindergarten. So I'll shut up. That was one of my words.
Great. Jason, do you want to jump in for Old Mill next?
Sure. So Jason Matt, principal of Old Mill. Have 2 sons, 2.5, 6.5. So relate to what it's like to have young kids. Old Mill is up towards the Old Mill, the library and Old Mill Park. It's a school of about 202 kids, and so that's 2 classes per grade. And we are the regular groups. It's a really just a thing that see a former teacher here. And, I mean, wherever you end up being placed, you're going to. Old Mill does not have TK right now. Park in San Valley. And it's really just a matter of space, and as the numbers go up, we'll try to find answers. So,
Brady, you want to share about Park?
Absolutely. Hi, Margaret Connor. I'm principal of Park School. We are across the Boyle Park by the tennis courts. I have been my 5th year as principal at Park, and I personally have 3 kiddos. One about to be, I just did my info break from high school.
Oh.
The same sort of thing, except for the worse, I think. Anyway, I Park School, to Daniel's point, all of our schools are awesome. We're very proud of our own schools. We have 287 students, I believe, as of today. We have 2 all the way up, so we're a little bit smaller. And we have 1 TK, this is the first year TK at Park School, and it's been amazing to have the little tour in this family at our site. And I also taught TK, so I've got that experience as well in my back pockets. So anyway, it's great. Look up, very brightly. You can hand it off.
Okay, go.
Lisa. Okay, here. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kimberly Russell. I'm the principal from school. I have two sons myself who both went through the Northern School District. Actually, one is still here at the school and a freshman. So I have been in the Northern School District since 2003, and I became the proud principal from 2000. We have around 240 students at our school. We're smallest. We're tight in community. So feel like it's a family. Everybody knows everybody, so that's a great thing about Strawberry Point. We too have 2 classes per grade level and 1 SCN course at Strawberry Point, and we are located across the highway. We are Stone's Throw, San Francisco Bay, and we have adjacent to our school is the wetlands, and we look at children out there in our classroom. So a great place to be, a great location, and just one of the great schools. And so welcome, and look forward to seeing some of you very soon. Thank you.
Lisa Lamar at Tam Valley.
Good evening, Lisa Lamar, Tam Valley Principal. Our school too. We are the second building behind EdNat. We have 3 of each grade level, 2 kindergarten classes at the moment. We are the Tigers, super fun, and there's Parkies. I have 3 children too, and my youngest is 21, he's 22. And they said, we were talking about this the other day, that even when they still come home, like they spend time at home, I still cry as somebody. And yes, I did cry when they went to kindergarten, so I will never make a mistake. What else? We are a very tight community. Also, we're off Tennessee Valley Road in the country. And it's just a great school, and I believe we're getting the next 2 kids, so I will be seeing you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, unless people at home are having a hard time hearing, we apologize. We didn't use a rotating mic like we do in some of our meetings, but we will continue to use the mic for the rest of the evening. Thank you. Next slide, please. So you want to take this?
Well, this is just a map of Mill Valley, so it's a little bit harder to see on this slide, but each of those houses represents one of our schools in the Mill Valley community. So the farthest on the left in the upper corner is Old Mill Elementary, then Park, then the blue in the middle is actually Mill Valley Middle School. Up from that, the light green is Edna McGuire. Across the highway, which is the big white line on the last quarter on the right, is Strawberry. And then down in the Tamalpais Homestead Valley, the orange house there is Tam Valley. We just wanted to represent here that Mill Valley schools are community schools because of the way that Mill Valley is geographically. You can see that Old Mill, Edna, and Park are all very, very close in proximity to each other. And we're going to get into some of the things around distance from school and things like that. But this map is just meant to show how close all of our schools are, which is what leads to some of the ways that we do placement differently than other districts.
I also want to note for those of you who may be listening to the Measure G conversations, we're in the process of designing and hoping to build the middle school. And the middle school, the rationale for where the middle school is placed is because it's in the center of our community, so it's accessible by all communities, and that's why we're here in this lovely room tonight, which is very nice to have a library as the heart of your school. So the next item is, what is TK? Next slide, please. TK has evolved since its inception, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. Originally, it was supposed, you were somehow magically supposed to determine how to teach half a year of the preschool standards and half a year of the kindergarten standards, and then somehow have all the kids ready to go to kindergarten in fall of the next year, which never really made sense to me. And I think what's come down is really, for most of us, you know, working with 3 and 4 year olds, you know, 3 and 4 year olds, whether they're in preschool or 4 year olds, whether they're in TK, is really that learning through play. And as Daniel McCord mentioned earlier, that self-regulation, like we want them to learn how to interact with other people, with the new adults, with other students. They're not developmentally ready to really engage with other people or adults. It's a lot of parallel play, but to learn to do so in ways that you can share, in ways that you can take turns, in ways that you can work in groups and choice. Next slide, please. And so our day really does focus a lot on either small group activities, you know, extra effort to build fine motor skills, activities that build their locomotor skills and outside play, you know, building choice, and then again, that time to self-regulating. So it doesn't look that much different than preschool in many ways. If your child's in a Montessori preschool, it may look a little bit different because there are more, it's a more structured time, and part of that is just helping kids get into the routine of kindergarten, where there are expectations that, you know, you use table time for a certain amount of things. You're able to sit and listen and, you know, work on handwriting or work on sound spelling work, you know, over time. So, but mostly it really just to feel comfortable in the school environment and to be away from home successfully and to have fun. Next slide. This is the sample weekly schedule. I won't go over it in great detail. One of the amazing things that we have in Mill Valley, you know, we refer to our schools as community schools in the way that we enroll students. You know, your child could be enrolled potentially anywhere, but they are also schools that would not exist the way they do without the contributions of Kiddo, our educational foundation, and our PTAs. You know, I've been in 12 districts, and every time I walk in the classroom here, I'm just awestruck because there are so many resources available for children. And again, really educating the whole child so that your children have the opportunity to do dance and self-expression and drama and performance and learn Shakespeare and poetry and writing. And, you know, the art is, if you watch children from TK through 4th or 5th grade, you can see that translation of, you know, artistic abilities, and it's just, I mean, it's phenomenal. So you are in really, truly an outstanding place to educate your children. And I'm saying this as both a former public school parent and a private school parent. And I would say that you are really in the best district I've ever seen. So this is a little bit of just information about kind of the difference in what the day looks like in pre-K and TK and kinder. And you'll see that really a large difference is the amount of time in the whole group work and the amount of time in individual work. So again, that table work where I've modeled something for you as the teacher, we practiced it in a group. Now I'm going to go ask you to perform that task independently on your own, obviously with support, but also that time where you'll sit in a group and learn something that then you'll again go back and apply individually. Next slide. Information you probably already know. But your children can enroll when they turn 4, and their birth dates between September 2nd, 2018 and June 2nd, 2020. That's the window for this year. The adult child ratio in the state regulations is 1 to 12. We tend to run our classes a little bit smaller. In the 25-26 school year, it'll be a 10 to 1 ratio. So, you know, I think we're looking at kind of running those classes a little bit smaller this year if we can in preparation, but a lot depends on just how the groups of kids come in, because we wouldn't open a TK class for 6 kids. So we might stack at 24 just to, if that's the number of kids we had come in. And then teachers do have special training for TK. Aubrey mentioned that she taught TK. I was a preschool teacher before as well, and it's a very different world. But again, it's I think what's beautiful about the TK setting now is that you're having folks who do know how to teach your children how to read and write and do math and know what's kind of coming in their program in ways that are a little bit different than those of us who just had a preschool credential. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Now I will hand it over to Kate.
So we're gonna talk a little bit now about how school placement's determined and then what registration actually looks like. Please, thank you. So our school placement priorities are based on board policy and administrative regulation that determines how we do school assignment and student enrollment. For TK, it's slightly different because this is a district-wide program. Since we are enrolling anyone who lives in Mill Valley with birth dates between September 2nd, 2019 and June 2nd, 2020, that is still not our whole population of students until the 25-26 school year, potentially, who would be turning 5 during that window, including the summer birthdays. So the state has given us windows. Next year, the window is September to June, and the district-wide program means that we are adjusting our program to have the right number of classrooms based on the number of students in that window that enroll in TK. So we started with just 3 classes at Edna McGuire. This year we added the 1 class at Park, and we will be adding 1 more class planned for Tam Valley at this point. And that's because the state has very specific parameters for what TK facilities need to look like, including a bathroom in the classroom that's of a certain size to help little bodies. So we have to make sure that we have that in place. It's also why we have to plan ahead for where we might be adding this in the future, because these kinds of projects take a lot of coordination to adjust classroom sizes or adjust the facilities so that they can fit that need. So currently at McGuire, Park, and plan for Tam Valley. And then of course as in any grade, we want to try to balance the class sizes district-wide if possible, so that we have that similar experience at any of our grade schools. And that's the same for TK. Based on enrollment, we divide those students equally among the classrooms that we have available so that we have equitable classes as much as possible. The placement priorities follow our traditional K plus, so that means if you're enrolling a new student for K or for another grade, to the extent possible. So siblings of currently enrolled students residing in the district are considered residents of that school when you get to K. Because we don't have TK classes at every site, we can't offer that for TK. It's that district-wide program. But when you move up to K, we'll ask you what your school preference is, and then you will get that preference to go to the school for kindergarten if you have an older sibling already in the school. Then any identified special education and program needs, those are evaluated by our director of special education, Erin Conklin, and her team. The facility capacity and class size. So again, we have the 3 classes at Edna McGuire. We can't add a 4th class there because we have the 2 other classrooms that are appropriate for that being used by our kindergarten classes there. That's why we have it in the Park, and why we'll move to Tam Valley for the next. Also, the proximity of residents to the school of choice and the balance of class size across the district again for those places.
I just wanted to add one thing. You heard our principals mention the variety of school sizes, right? We're in a district where we have declining enrollment, and so what we're trying to do to guarantee consistent matriculation is to do at least 2 classes at each grade level, so that as the students from kindergarten on, so that as the students progress, they will be in cohorts, and we won't have situations where we're collapsing classes or having combination or not able to fill a class for a specific grade level. So know that when we talk about balancing class sizes district-wide, we're also talking about preserving that integrity of our ability to maintain 5 schools at this point.
So next, in how we specifically register for TK, first we're going to go over the TK registration timeline and then the steps involved with that online enrollment process. So the registration window will open on January 16th. That's a Tuesday after the new year. That's when registration opens. That means that's when online enrollment will be available. So you'll be able to actually get into the system and start your registration process. It will close on February 29th, 2024. If you submit your packet on January 16th, January 17th, or February 29th, it does not matter for the placement or acceptance of your child or your preferences. That whole window is all considered one round of registration. So don't feel like you have to log in or check with us if it's not open when you think it is at midnight on January 16th. It won't be open at midnight. It will be sometime during the day on the 16th, but we want to reassure you that the time that you submit during that window does not affect where your child gets into school or whether they have a place in TK. We're a public school district, so every student who is age eligible for TK is given a place in TK in the Mill Valley School District. So then by May 1st, we will confirm your school placement. So you will get an email from us saying this is the place that your child is placed for TK, and you'll have about a week to confirm that placement, to accept that placement and say, yes, I'm planning to come. We do that so that, you know, we know that you've been thinking about it all along, but we need a firm answer from you so that we can make sure that we have the classes as equitably placed as possible. As people who register after February 29th, we need spaces for them. We need to know where those spaces are. And maybe you're still deciding whether your preschool is the right child choice for your student, what your own family circumstances are about whether you're going to send your child to TK because it's available, or if you're going to keep them in the setting that they're in for now and wait until kindergarten to enroll. And we know that it takes time to make that decision. So after May 1st, you'll respond back with your confirmation, and then you'll start hearing from the school after that. So you'll be invited to a TK orientation at the school. You'll get a request to complete the TK parent and preschool survey. So our teachers have put together a survey that they ask parents and preschools to complete so that they have some background information, since these are new students to us. And then over the summer, you'll be added to Parent Square, which is an online platform for us to communicate really easily with families. Hopefully you'll find it easy as well. We'll send more information as you start getting those communications. And then in August, right before school starts, that's when you'll get the actual teacher and class assignment confirmation for your student, along with the rest of our students. So TK through 8th grade actually all get their teachers and their schedules in just those few days before school starts. School starts on a Thursday, and we have the data at the end. But just at the beginning of that week is when you get that placement. Okay, next slide, please. So the online process, do not be alarmed by the number of steps here. I just tried to spell it out as specifically as possible.
Presentation will be online.
And then the steps are also online. And what I've just tried to do is capture it so that you know what you're in for when you start logging into that portal, because there are multiple steps. Now, it's not like you have to complete it all in one sitting. You want to write down your username and password somewhere so you can get back into it, but you can reset your password as well. So it will save your progress. And if you sit down and are interrupted, it's no problem. You can get back to it and pick up from where you left off. So you'll go to the Mill Valley School District website and click on the registration quickly. And then you're going to select transitional kindergarten because that's where what you're registering for. Then you click on the online registration portal and you're enrolling a new student. So you select the school year to enroll for, and this is something that again, it's going to be step by step when you're going through it. We'll have this available for you like a checklist. You're going to pick the pre-enrollment. You're pre-enrolling your student for the next year, which is why you're pre-enrolling for 24-25. Then you'll review the required documentation. We just have that there before you start logging in. So again, you know what you need to check for. That's also available on the website. But those are things like the proof of age, either a birth certificate or a passport, the immunization record, the declaration of residency document, which we have paper copies of in the office, but we also link digitally in multiple places. So you can download it and print at home and then fill that out. The verification of residency, which has a few components, and then a release of information and the Google Suite consent form. So there are several components, but you can use just snapshots, screenshots, like with your phone if you're doing it on your phone. You can also use an app like Genius Scan, which is a free app to digitize documents and turn them into PDFs and get them up. Or if you're really struggling with it, you can email our registrar directly. You can upload just a blank picture or a picture of whatever, and our registrar will attach those documents directly for you. So we're here to help you through the process. It is very straightforward. It's the same platform that I use as a parent to enroll. Many of our districts in Marin use it. It's called Aries. And so it sounds arduous. It is a little arduous, but it's straightforward and we'll try to be as clear as possible. And again, we'll offer you as much help as we can. I'm going to go back just one more. Sure. That's the required documentation. Then you create an account and you follow those steps online. So in addition to uploading some documentation, you're giving us things like your kid's birth date, your contact information, emergency contacts, physician information. You're completing surveys like the home language survey, which is required by the state of California, and the housing survey, which is also required by the state. Then uploading those documents, completing the submission, and then you'll see a confirmation page. And I just wanted to call that out because you'll see something that says you've completed enrollment in the Mill Valley School District. From there, our registrar will reach out if there's any documentation that is missing or that doesn't meet one of the requirements for those documents. Okay. Okay. Sure. So for more information, if you want to check in or you go to the website and start reviewing those documents and you have a question about something, you can reach out to Kathy Rosen, who is our registrar. She works at the front desk in the district office. She's available by email, also by phone. We have a link here to more information about the California Transitional Kindergarten Program, which California considers part of a 2-year kindergarten program, and they're continuing to roll that out. And then, of course, the next thing further on will be attending that TK orientation in May.
And then, of course, the first day of school is Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. So we look forward to seeing you there. And we have a few minutes to answer questions if there are any. Have you received any?
We have. Is Strawberry Point an option for TK?
Strawberry Point is not currently an option for TK because we don't have the facilities in place that have the appropriate square footage for the classroom and the restroom access. That will be something we hope comes through the modernization, but it will not be in place for the 2024 2025 school year.
If there's enough demand, is it possible there could be a TK class at Old Mill?
Also, like Strawberry, there is currently not a facility at Old Mill. We would have to relocate childcare, which I think people also want at Old Mill. So we wouldn't be able to provide a classroom there yet. Old Mill is our most impacted site, and there really isn't even footprint at a lot of another TK class. So the one room that has a bathroom that isn't used is the aftercare program. And I think that when we look at the needs of all of the students in the school, that sort of outweighs the need for a TK there.
Are the class sizes and teacher ratios for TK classes the same for Park and Edna? If not, how are they different?
They are the same. One of the things that's a driver in the Mill Valley School District and not so much other places is that we balance our class sizes by grade level district wide. So for example, if there were 22 students at one school and 23 at another school, the next student that is enrolled would go into that 22 student classroom, even if that classroom weren't adjacent to that child's home. So that's an interesting artifact of our system. We are committed to doing that because of the enrollment fluctuations, and we don't want to place your children in programs where by attrition, you know, by the time they get to 3rd or 4th grade, there's not a full class. So we try to really commit to that balance at the get-go and to maintain that. And then from there, as Kate said, you know, trying to keep siblings together and things like that once kindergarten starts.
What would you say are the main differences between TK and a Bright Horizon facility, for example?
I haven't been in any of the Bright Horizon facilities. You know, when I think about having taught preschool and having been in TK a fair amount, I think there's a little bit, first of all, you have an older population. So one of the things in TK is there is a set age group, whereas in preschools, frequently you'll have your children interacting with 3s and 4-year-olds throughout the day, or 2 to 4-year-olds. So I think there is a little bit of a developmental difference that you'll see with the transitional kindergarten students in a TK setting. I think the other element is really just that assimilation to the campus size, to the amount of other individuals who are on campus, the potential access to siblings, you know, having that opportunity to have all your children in one place to the extent it's possible. But I think it's really just, it's more like a traditional school than a preschool setting would be.
Does the lunch master service start at TK?
Yes.
Well, Lunchmaster is the district provided school lunch program that is in what's the word, compliance with the National School Lunch Program and the California program providing free lunches to all school age students. So all students in the Mill Valley School District have access to free lunch, free breakfast and lunch every day. And you do sign up for it online in advance so that we can procure the right amount of food, but it is available to every student every day.
And in case you hear members in the community, it does meet the federal school lunch guidelines and nutrition guidelines. However, you're also always welcome to send your child to school with
I
food.
have one child who loves the school lunch and one child who makes its dad making lunch. So you should talk to Kate.
Does placement for TK influence placement for K? Example, if my child goes to TK at Park, are they more likely to be placed at Park for kindergarten?
No. Because TK is a district-wide program and we never know exactly how many kids we're gonna have coming in.
Especially with the rollout from the state and the age guidelines for which students we can admit, it wouldn't be fair to the students who are not currently in that availability, don't even have access to TK. We need to reset and place all students into these schools. So as a TK student in January, our current TK students, those families receive the opportunity to tell us what their first and second choices are, just like you did in registration. And then we go through the placement process, just like we do for the rest of the students registering during that time period.
Aftercare options for Edna McGuire?
All of the aftercare options are linked on our website under, I think it says childcare options. And currently there are childcare programs available at each of our school sites.
I have twins. So do I. So do I. Is there any scenario where they would be placed at different locations? Also, is there any scenario where we wouldn't be accepted?
If your birthday falls within the dates that September 2nd, 2019 to June 2nd, 2020, we are a public school district offering this TK program, and you will be offered a place in TK if your birthday falls within those dates.
What about the scenario for separate placement?
Have we encountered that one? I mean, I would imagine that we would put siblings together if they're twins, even in TK. We would absolutely put them together if they were in kindergarten, but I could extrapolate. Although I would say, as a twin mom, you may not want them in the exact same class, depending.
I separated mine. Twins are not placed in the same class, but usually that's a school decision.
However, if there's only one TK, then they can go together for 1 year.
Is there an option to observe a TK class?
I think the way that we do classroom observations in this district is we invite folks for our orientation evenings. And so that would be the best way to get to know programs. We also will have, I think we have a video on our website about a day in kindergarten. We are working on a day in TK. You can see my technical skills are a little bit lagging. So we're working on connecting with some TAM High kids. We just are a little bit unable to get there yet. So not really for observing, but definitely we have the opportunity for you to kind of get a window in.
That's it. That's all we have. Oh, you know what? If you just say it and I'll repeat it so the people at home can hear.
Is that taking, I know you have a staggered drop-off and pick-up times, but do you take that into consideration when placing the sibling, i.e. that the proximity is considered?
Okay, so the question is, if you have children at separate locations, do you take into consideration staggered the different drop-off times?
No. So they have an older sibling currently at a school that starts at a specific time, and there isn't a TK program at that site. The start time for TK is slightly staggered, but would that be taken into consideration? So proximity
placement
in terms of placing you at a closer TK program so that you could do both the drop-off for your older student and the drop-off for TK in time for the start of the school day.
Yeah, or just not. I mean, she's at Old Mill, so Park would be much easier for me than Tamworth, to be transparent. So I'm just, you might say no, but I'm just curious.
I don't think that we take into consideration the placement of where an older student is currently on campus in the place for TK. Because our sites for TK are so limited compared to where our students are attending older grades. But we certainly understand that can impact when TK students arrive in school and accommodate that. Absolutely.
You have
So there is a staggered drop-off time for TK? It's a soft start for TK. So the start times for TK is considered a soft start. It's a little bit different. And what is that time? Right. It's short.
We should put in.
Aubrey, can you come? Yeah.
We recommend that if you have a kiddo in an older grade at a different site, that you drop them off first and then drop off your TKer, but that you pick your TKer up first and then go with your older student. But I think Edna might have, you guys might have, is that the same thing?
And there's a kind of like an afternoon recess for TK so that those students who need to be picked up earlier can be picked up while the other students are outside and not so you're traveling miss instruction.
So the official start time for our elementary school is 8:15, but like on our sample schedule, they're doing good morning choices, that soft start for the first 20 minutes, 8:15 to 8:35. And in the afternoon, our elementary schools get out at 2:35, but they're starting those goodbye choices. They finish the goodbye circle by 2:15, again, allowing that a little more flexibility. And early dismissal for everyone on Wednesdays is 1:45, just in case you're wondering. We have staff meetings and other things on Wednesdays.
No question, sir.
We have time for one more question.
Do you have somewhat accurate demographic info? Like, what is your expectation for the amount that's in enrolled TK in this coming school year?
We anticipate that we're gonna have 5 classes of roughly 24 students. You know, it's interesting, our demographics are, you know, census data are hard here because people end up actually giving birth other places and then moving here because they want their children to be raised in the valley. So we don't always have an accurate prediction. And we also know that a number of folks will be interested in keeping their options open. So looking at preschool, looking at TK, maybe looking at private and trying to find the right place. So that's why we have that. We try to commit to the window in May so that we can do any sort of redistribution if we find we don't have enough kids or too many kids who actually show up. Sorry.
Yes.
There's too many kids, if there was a 6 classroom, where would that be?
I think we have to target on the director before anything.
The question was if there are additional students, where would that classroom be? Kate, can you repeat?
Well, I just said I think we need to talk closely with our director of facilities and look at our facilities and where we really could meet those state requirements. We have to meet those state requirements in order to open another state classroom.
And I think we might be.
What about the reverse of that? Like not even close to enough kids? Would you broaden out the age bands, like for the summer kids?
No, I think we'll have like right now we have 4, no 5, right? 4 TKs. So I think we'd have solid numbers. We'd probably just do fewer students in a classroom and maybe fewer classrooms total. But definitely, I think there's, you know, we're pretty committed to staying within the state window because once we open that window and go outside of it, we're putting ourselves. It's hard to be equitable because then people will be coming and, oh, I don't want my child to go to preschool. I want them to come here, and then all of a sudden we're full of kids that are born on, you know, June 3rd, and you know, we can't be fair. So I think one of the things in a system like ours, it feels very bureaucratic. It felt super bureaucratic to me when I first came in. It's walking me through this. Is that we're trying to keep equity in our school sites and to really make sure that your child, once enrolled, can have a school in a district where there's declining enrollment where you are able to matriculate K through 5.
And
so
we are really excited to offer a TK program. You know, there are other districts in our community that do not offer a TK program. And we are not the only district sticking firmly to those age guidelines. The state gave us those guidelines to allow us to make the facilities, you know, feasible in the future. And so we're working on that long-term plan, but we are sticking to those age guidelines for now.
There's one more at the back.
And do any of the TK sites have like Bright Horizons pre-care for those of us who are going to be dropping one off and then another off at different sites?
The question is there pre-care available at any of the TK sites?
I think there's a certain drop, like we don't have pre-care. There are, you know,
saying like there's Bright Horizons or is there, you know, one of those?
no, we do have breakfast, so you can drop off like at 7:45. Your child can have breakfast. There is supervision during that window because we anticipate that not everyone wants to drive through at 8:15 and try to survive that line too.
Like, that's only, you have to be in first grade. Like I know I have a kindergartner that I have to physically walk in to let him go. And so I can't drop a TK or off at 7:45 or January.
I don't think there's a policy limiting a TK from being dropped off at 7:45.
Or kindergartner. However,
It's having a kindergarten, right?
if you know your child.
You know, I know that he figured it out. He does have an older brother helping, but you know, also there's supervision, and then there also may be suggestions or recommendations from teachers on the ways to help students have a successful thing. But we know not all parents can accommodate that also.
If you have additional questions, you're more than welcome to scan the QR code on the way out as well, and we will get back to you.
And thank you for coming. You know, I think any of us are here to answer questions. Kathy's a great resource. We're all here to listen if you just need someone to talk you down.
If you came in late and didn't have a chance to sign in, the clipboard to sign in is right over there, just so we have your email and send you the presentation.
And you may be invited to any number of district committees, like a portrait of a graduate committee or the local patrol accountability plan committee, since we now have your emails and you are captive with us should you choose the Mill Valley Adventure for your children.
And Anna has added a quick link. So the presentation is on the front page of our website at mvschools.org, easily accessible.
Thank you very much.
And truly, you cannot go wrong here. You absolutely cannot go wrong.